Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Mailbox Power Mastermind Call that happens on Monday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Mountain. You figure the rest out because my brain ain't working that well this morning. But anyways, we come together to help each other out, to help each other grow our Mailbox Power businesses, and we like to start the week with wins. So does anybody have a win they would like to share? Kimberly.
I have a client who's a new pastor, and we were just focusing on her relationship with the new congregation because she's never been a pastor before, and this is a new church. But as I was talking to her just a few days ago, come to find out she does aromatherapy oils. And I'm like, girl, you can't use all your cards for the congregation. You
Yeah.
got to use at least half for your business. And so she's really excited and she's really getting into using the system, which is creating the Excel form for all of her customers that she wants to thank. We're going to upload them today. We've already got a card created thanking them for the business and accentuating the fact that health and wellness is her main, concern for them. So I'm so excited to open her mind to the real deal for Mailbox Power, which is not just relationships, but it's for the business.
To grow the business. And
Yes.
church is a business. Let's
Church
face
is a
it. It is a
business.
nonprofit, but it is a business. The pastor gets paid. There are staff that gets paid. It is a business. They have to make money in order to support the community and the causes that they have. So,
But
uh,
I didn't really know that she had the side hustle. And once I
yep.
found out, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, and remind me when we get to uh the next part. Let's talk a little bit about that, about growing not only a church business, but a doTERRA business or an oil, doTERRA or Young Living or whatever it is. Oh, look who's here. Did you want to say hi? Ah,
Yeah.
say hi. Hi.
Hi.
Are those golf clubs?
They
Hey.
are. They got a set of golf clubs for Christmas
All
that
right.
adjust. And it has a little putting green for inside the house, and it came with three
Oh, that's
actual
adorable.
different, a driver, a putter, and you good? Are you gonna go see Papa now? No, 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 we're not gonna hit the computer. Go play with them, go see Papa. Oh, you want to sit with me? All right, then you gotta be quiet, okay? Okay, you can sit with me. Let's put these let's put these right here until we're done then. Okay? Okay. So we have a little co-pilot today. But yeah, let's talk about that when we get to the next section. Anybody else have any wins they'd like to share for the week? Bob.
Yeah, surprisingly, just before Christmas, I had a client call me. It's interesting. These are clients that I have been chasing for probably over 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
consistently with cards and what have you. And they've looked at it, and they were firm believers in some other company
Mm-hmm.
and had been using it for years. And the lady finally called me. She says, "I am sick to death of trying to make this thing work. I want your system."
Yep.
And,
Awesome.
and so I got them signed up. Now, I think they're still with some other company,
Yes.
but she's transferring all of her clients, and they've got well over 1,500 clients
Oh, wow.
Nice.
uh,
Nice.
to get loaded in. And she's very tech savvy, so she's not having any trouble with it. But
Good.
it just the idea is it's worth it to stay in touch with people, even when they say no,
Exactly.
when they're
Oh,
not interested. Stick with it. Keep the postcards coming. Just,
yep.
just stay in touch with them because sooner or later they're going to decide that they want what we've got.
Yep.
No, it's not yet, not yet.
Yep. Yep.
Exactly. No, is not yet. As Steve Schultz used to say, some will, some won't. Stop.
So
Some
what?
will.
Next.
So what? Um, yeah,
Who's
next.
next?
Yeah, but there's even another one. There's sevens. But anyways, yeah, they're just not ready yet. And it's okay that they still have the other system, because eventually they're going to see how easy. Now ours is, so here's the challenge. Ours is not exactly easy to set up when you have a different mindset.
Mhm.
And people that come over from a different system, and there are multiple systems out there that come over from a different system and are trying to figure ours out, it can take a while for their mindset and for them to okay, you go play. For them to figure out, here's your golf clubs. There you go. How to figure out how to implement ours and to understand the automation side of it, because they are so used to, most of them are so used to doing things by hand in a way, even though they're not actually handwriting cards, they're doing them by hand, and it's taking a lot of time. So just be patient. And yes, Bob, we've talked about this, that it's been, I have one friend that I have known since my daughter was a year old. And she's seen everything we've done over the past 14 years. And it wasn't until about 4 or 5 years ago that she finally came to me and said, I think I'm ready to do my holiday cards with you. So, I mean, that's a long time of nurturing somebody, but you just, as long as you are in it to truly add value and relationships, and you're not always selling, if they see you as that's all you're doing is pitching your product, they probably will never come over, never use the system. If they feel like you're truly trying to add value and help them grow their business or help them stay in touch with, their circle of influence, then eventually they will see what we have and will probably eventually join you. And if not, that's okay. That's okay. Not everybody is our best client. And not everybody we really want as our client. If it's going to be a lot of work, then maybe that's not the right client for our system.
Yeah, I've got one like that.
Yep, I've got a few like
I'm about
that.
ready to cut her loose.
I got a
She's,
few like
she's a
that.
pain in the royal neck and elsewhere.
Yep. Well, and that's why I say set the expectation, and I've said this before, set the expectation that when you bring on a new client, you offer X, and anything above X cost Y. So you give them an hour, you give them 2 hours, you help them for an hour a year to reset up their automations, whatever it is that you want to offer, you make it crystal clear what is included with the system. As Lulu said, Lulu used to give away the farm. Mike and I used to give away the farm. And Lulu now, if you go back to, it was probably about a year ago, a light bulb went off, and she's like, the 199 or the 79 pays for the system, the membership, and that's all you get. Anything above that, you get that, plus you get the support that's offered by Mailbox Power Corporate through the trainings that are available on the right-hand side of the website. You get that support. You get the icon on the bottom right-hand corner, the chat. If you are an executive, you do get the bell at the top where you can schedule meetings. But outside of that, that's what your membership gets you. Now, if you sign up with me, I also add fill in the blank. Above that, there is a cost. Which
I always
reminds
like
me,
taking the Dumbledore approach.
the what?
The Dumbledore approach.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Potter.
Yep.
Dumbledore says help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it.
Mm-hmm. Uh, but again, I'm going to caution you there because you will have clients that ask and ask and ask and ask and ask and want you to be a 1-800 or a customer support that's available 24/7. And if that's what you want to be, that's great.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've never had that experience.
I have. I have had text messages and calls, and people get frustrated with me when I don't respond immediately. Or if I
Mm.
don't respond within a few hours, or if it's the weekend, if I haven't responded by before my wake up time in Colorado, they seem agitated.
They want that kind of response from me, they're on retainer.
Yep,
Simple.
yep.
I'm
Yeah.
curious, do any of you define your limits when you onboard somebody? Like I'll give you your phone calls within the first 90 days. I mean, how might you all structure that?
I personally say I give you an hour. If it's an executive, I'll give them, I say an hour, but it usually ends up being about 2 hours.
Sure.
And I will help you set up as much as possible in that hour or so. And after that, if you need more help, there is a charge.
Yeah.
And it is best if you come to me having watched all of the onboarding videos and
Yep.
have a list of what it is that you want to accomplish with Mailbox Power. Is it nurturing? Is it marketing? What do you need help with? And what do you want set up? What are your top 1 or 2 priorities to get set up in the system? Because if that's all we get set up, you're off and running and being successful, and the rest we can add later. But don't just, I will give them a little bit of time when I'm with them and I sign them up and kind of just help them navigate around and show them where the onboarding is. Just so, and I give them my YouTube channel, which has training videos, which is probably migrating to more of a school or go high level type platform versus taking them just to YouTube. I'm rethinking all of that to try to strategize better and use YouTube truly to grow the business, not just to be a training resource for people. And so that's what I do is I point them in the way of the videos I've done. I point them to the right in the training that's offered by corporate with Bobby Joe, or I think it's Bobby Joe and Frank that are still doing those. And those are offered a lot. And again, they're on the right hand side. Just pop into the Zooms and it's it you get support, and that's for all levels. It doesn't matter what level you are. If you want to schedule a 1-to-1 and use the bell, that's executive. Unless they've changed that. I know they were talking about opening that up to pros also, but I'm an executive, so I only see I'd have to go into one of the pro accounts. It's a customer and see if they have access to it. But those are available for all customers. If you are looking for a number to call to reach out to customer support whenever you want, our platform is not the right platform for you. If you are willing to pay for support and you want to get your system set up for you so that you don't have to do it, you can hire me to do that for you. I've been working this platform since day one. I know it inside and out. I can promise you, I've had customers that are super tech savvy and say, "Oh, I can do that. I can navigate any system." And then after 2 months, they call me and say, "Brenda, I still don't have anything set up, or I've only sent 5 things out. I need your help." Whereas if they had paid up front to have me set it up for them, they would have already gotten the benefit of 2 months of the system and their business could be growing. So, do you want to pay for speed? Do you want to pay for the fast track, or do you want to walk on the slow track? Those are kind of, that's not always the language I use, but that's kind of where I'm at. It's like I have a customer that we went to a Christmas party, our BNI Christmas party, and they came over to us and said, "We need to do some marketing." I had a call with them last week. I owe them today a price to do it. In the past, she's done the postcards, but she just had a baby. I'm like, "Are you going to do the design, or do you want to pay me to do the design since you are a little bit busy with a brand new baby?" And she said, "No, we need you to give us a price to do this, because we can't count on me to get it done." So there's going to be times when you have people that are perfectly capable of using Canva, or they have other graphic design programs. They're super talented when they come to that. They do their social media, they do other things, and you just got to give them the specs, take them to the help, and do size. Just type size, and the product image sizes are there, and have them go off and build it themselves. And then I say to all of my customers, I don't say this to the birthday because they're not doing it, but to my pros and executives, I say to them, your first 4, 5, 6, I don't care how many automations, if you're going to do it yourself, when you get it all set up, please, 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 it's not a bother to call me or to text me and say, "Brenda, will you take 5 minutes and look at this and make sure I set it up right?" Because I've had too many new customers that have either misspelled the merge field, forgot the double brackets, whatever it might be, and they send out that first mailer and they're like, I screwed it up and I wasted. The way they look at it is they wasted. They didn't. The mailer still showed up at that address, but they feel like they wasted their money. It's not a bother to call me to look at something, not to design it, not to help you design it. Like, take that time. But if it's set up and ready to go, I am always available to take a look before you hit send or activate to make sure that it's set up properly. An automation, the other misstep that many people forget to do is to add how many days that it goes. They add their shipments in, they've got it beautifully set up and in the right order, and they got the cards and the gifts. And I go in and I look at it and they haven't put a timing in. So they're all going at the same time. They're all going immediately because it defaults to immediately. I'd rather have them call me than to get the call saying, "Oh my God, 12 packages just went out to 50 people and I got charged whatever." I'm always available for those type of calls for my customers. So those are some of the expectations I set. You have to set your own. What is it that you are willing to add on top of the membership cost at no cost for your customers? Because we're truly a software product, an online software product, like QuickBooks, like Word, like any graphics program, any of those, Photoshop, you buy it, you figure it out, or you pay somebody to do it for you, to train you or to build it. Yeah, software as a service, as Neil said. And I think that's where we make the mistake, because many of us came from a different platform and that was not the message. Mailbox Power is software as a service. You are just purchasing it through me so that I get the credit. It's like you choose to go to Walmart or Target. Who do you want to give the money to? Same with Mailbox Power. You can buy it through many different affiliates. Here's why you should buy it from me, because I add blank. Or instead of having to use the chat all the time, I'm available once a month or whatever it is. You have to fill in the blank for yourself. What are you willing to give? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good balance.
And for those of us who came from other platforms and are still, like Mike and I were for many years, doing it like the other platforms, if you're okay with that, keep marching forward. If you're frustrated because that's really not what you wanted to do, because you're with this platform and you know the power of it. And oh, by the way, for those of you who have people that are using a different platform, whatever it is, go do the research of what it costs them in that other platform. Many of those other platforms have an add-on price for you to do it for them. Go look at those prices, because those other services do have add-ons, VA type services, and that doesn't matter what. I mean, it's like even Postcard Mania. They'll do a free design for you if you're sending, I don't know, 5,000 postcards. But if you're not, there's a cost. So go look. If you have somebody, if you have a potential customer that's using something else, do yourself a favor and go do the research. Because I can promise you, I know the platform Bob's talking about. If you go do the math, I didn't have anybody this year that chose Mailbox Power over that system, but last year I did. And sending the exact same number of cards cost them almost $200 less in Mailbox Power than it did in the other system.
Wow.
So for $200, you could do it for them and it would still cost them the exact same thing. We are not trying to be the low cost leader. That is not Mailbox Power's goal. We are not trying to be the lowest price out there. We just happen to be lower than many platforms currently. Mailbox Power is all about making sure it is the most automated, most complete system that allows you to do not just client nurturing, but also marketing. I challenge you to go find another system out there that does it all and automates it like ours does.
Well, I have looked over the years, and before I decided to go ahead and jump in after retiring, whatever that is, I went back to the original company, if you will. I know,
Mm-hmm.
and first of all, it's terribly, terribly confusing to try to figure out what you're getting and what it costs. Second thing is, once you do figure it out, it was a lot more expensive.
Yep,
So,
exactly. And in the past, it wasn't that confusing.
yeah, no, I agree.
Go to the website today.
Yeah,
I
I've been
wouldn't
there.
even know where to begin.
No, you
And
don't.
I'm familiar, and I
With
would
with
know
with
where to
stamps,
begin.
without stamps, it was a mess.
Yep. Neil.
And Brenda, I got a call from a customer. I'm in promotional products and I normally sell him cards. And he says, Neil, I want to see your card thing, the Mailbox Power. I said, great. He goes, I just let you know there's another guy from the other company approaching me as well. I said, that's fine. So we set an appointment. When I got to the appointment, he says, I just have to let you know up front. I chose to go with the other guy. And at first I got a little irritated inside, and then I said, well, you may have made a good decision. I said, that company does a good job. I said, I just think we do a little bit better. And I told him that our system is set up more for business, where that one is set up for more for individual cards, which was his deal. He has no time for cards. He's going to have his receptionist do all the cards. And it's usually a nightmare around Christmas time with them. So what I did is he had bought a $500 package, whatever it included. And, ours would have been better. Our $500 package would have been better if the executive premiere, but I wasn't mean to them. I was nice. I promoted thinking he did a good job, but I just let him know that I feel ours is a little bit better. And when you have the time, I'll explain more. I didn't want to blow his mind right there on the
Yeah.
spot. So
No, and that's a good point, Neil, is if somebody has already signed up with the other one, it is a great system. I'm not going to lie. It's an amazing system if you have the time and you want to do them like one-off notes.
Right.
It's amazing. Or if you want to be able to do one card from an app on your phone, they are the system for you.
yes.
If that is not what you are looking for, then let's have a conversation. And so what I would say to somebody who's done, if that had happened to me, awesome. I'm so excited for you. Can't wait to see your card and to hear about your experience.
That would have been a good line to add.
And hear about your experience. And then afterwards, if they're like, oh my God, that was amazing. It was the best experience. Great. Then you picked the right platform. If you hear them say, oh, it was a pain in the butt. It took us a long time. My admin was out of pocket for 2 days trying to get this done. You know what? Let's have a conversation because I may or may not have a platform that would have worked better for you. I may or may not have a system or a platform that would work better for you.
Yep. Thank you.
Now I want to go, before we wrap up, I told Kimberly we were going to talk and we're right at about the 30 minutes, but I want to take a couple of minutes and talk about with Kimberly about oils and church. And I would like her to start off by sharing, I know Bob has built a booklet, and I know Kimberly has been super successful in bringing on churches. And if you would take
No,
you
no,
have
I got one client. She was
it's
a
just the
friend
same
of
one.
mine
Okay.
who became a pastor.
Okay. I thought you now had several churches. So it's
No.
still the same one we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Got it. Because I'm like, so share with us how I get it. If it's only the one, I thought it was a couple now. So how can Kimberly add value to this client, what are some ways that Kimberly can share with her friend who is a pastor that they can use Mailbox Power as a tool to grow the church / her oil business?
I'll tell you something I did, and I just separated from it because I've moved and I don't want to keep doing things long distance. But church I was in previously, going back 8, 9 years, I would take, and I worked as a photographer at one time, so I can take the pictures, but that's pretty easy with today's technology. Baptism pictures, and put them on a card. Got the pastor to give me a signature. He put a verse in, a message in, and I would send those out on his behalf. And like I say, that was more giving back to my own church. And you know, in the vein of not doing everything for somebody, even though I still support the church and love the people. I'm trying to build a business now that I wasn't before. So I said, "Hey, take a look at this, birthday," because he talked about doing birthday cards, and well, I'll probably just use something, whatever, Shutterfly or whatever. And I said, "No problem." But that's one way. Anytime you have new families, you have new people join the church, there's a new client gift. There's lots of little, it probably takes a little bit of volume to justify it for the church, but that's what I did, is baptisms, which were 3 or 4 times a year, so they weren't all the time. But especially if you got a church that's doing a lot of baptisms or doing a lot of growing, there's lots of opportunities for those new, and for the staff to say send a birthday card, or the Sunday school teacher, whether the church secretary executes it on their behalf, or because you can't get 14 people in the system. But missed you here last couple of weeks. Hope everything's okay, or whatever.
I love
Thank
that.
you.
So I was thinking the other thing is, other than baptisms, it depends on the church, but infant dedications.
First communion, and
Yep. It depends on the church. A first communion, a confirmation, if it's a Catholic church, things like that. Think of the things to congratulate people, to reach out. Definitely new members to the congregation, if they've gone through the new member class. Welcome cards. And then, like, the youth. I think it's very underutilized in the youth arena, because I think our youth, more than our adults, need the encouragement. So what if the youth pastor, you said if they have 200 or whatever, do they have the 200 cards, Kimberly? Are they an executive? They
No,
have
she's
50.
on the pro. They
Okay,
got a very small church congregation.
That's fine. So you say, out of the 50, you tell your youth pastor that that they have 5 cards to recognize 5 youth that have either stepped up and volunteered, or you've seen a big change in them, or whatever it might be. Give them 5 that they can send out. Have the pastor send out especially to volunteers. Pick a volunteer or a couple of volunteers. If it's a small church, you only need 1 or 2. If it's a bigger church, you would reach out and thank or recognize 5 volunteers of the month. And it can even be, they can be recognized from the front of the church on Sunday morning to say, here are our 5, I'd like these 5 volunteers to come forward who are our volunteer of the month, but they also get something in the mail.
I think that's a great idea. And this conversation just sparked an idea to send a card of appreciation to everybody who rents space on the campus, the renters. That's the money.
Yes.
Bob, you look like you had a thought coming out.
Yep, he did.
I was just going to ask if I can have permission to share my booklet.
Yes.
Yes, I think it is in the chat.
Well, the link is in the chat. Can I
Yeah.
share my screen? I can show it to you real quick.
Oh, sure. Hold on
You may
one
have
second.
time.
This is priceless, y'all. Priceless.
Hold on. There you go.
Because you've already illuminated a lot of reasons.
Yep,
So
he has. And I also, Kimberly, if it's a small church and they're trying to expand, I would go find a 2 mile radius or a 5 mile radius around the church with their ideal demographic, whether that be families, whether that be the elderly, whoever their ideal parishioner is, churchgoer is, or if they're trying to grow their youth ministry, whatever it is, reach out to that demographic within usually 5 miles is the max. I would start with 2 miles. And I would send the 4x6, if they're on the pro, I'd send the 4x6 postcards asking them to join with the service times on it.
Awesome. Awesome.
That's actually how I ended up at the church I ended up when I was going through my divorce, is I got a postcard in the mail. And my daughter and I were searching to get back to church. And so we had visited a couple of different places, sent us postcards. And those were the places that we visited, and that's the church I ended up at. They have since closed and we're at a different one, but that's how I ended up at the church I ended up at. So they work. And that was long
Awesome.
before I was in a system that helped churches to do that. Which reminds me, I probably should go do a Facebook Live or something on that, because that is how I ended up at the church that I was at when Mike and I met. So I probably should go do a video on that.
Yes, that's a gold mine.
Yep.
I love this, Mr. Bob Wilcox.
Okay, I developed this booklet for affiliates to send out to prospective churches as a sort of an informational piece. The whole idea, it's got card samples in it. This is something that I've heard so many times in my life. The only time I hear from my church is when they want more money.
Yep.
And that's an unfortunate realization that I think a lot of church leaders need to hear. But there's some basic information here about the importance of direct mail marketing for religious organizations. And then there's a whole series of card samples for various purposes. Choir members, musicians, organists, pianists, musicians there too, ushers, hospitality ministry, church school leaders, trustees, board of ministry people, church admin, who is often overlooked, church custodians, who never get thanked for what they do, the welcome ministry, care ministry, celebration ministry for birthdays, anniversaries, and that kind of thing. And then there's information here. This is all customizable on this side for the links and the what have you. And then the affiliates identified on the back page. So this is a booklet that people can, I'm selling the booklet, but when you get a copy of it, then it becomes yours. You can send it to anybody you want to.
Hey, Bob,
Yeah.
I just noticed that's not the one when we bought it from you. It was different. It was purple. Is there any way I can get the updated green one from you?
Sure.
Because
Yeah, me too.
I like the layout better. I mean, it's very similar, but I
Yeah.
like the green better than the purple.
Yeah,
because-
I updated it and changed the color on it. So yeah, if you want the new one, just ask.
Yeah, I'm asking.
Okay.
Me too. I'm asking, Bob.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. It's so funny what color can do.
Yep. Yeah, I did, and I like where the places are. I like the church images on the front. It just I
I
love
like it all.
I love the changes you made.
Okay.
So
If anybody wants a copy, let me know. I'm asking $10 for the booklet that you can customize.
yep,
Love it.
awesome. Well, thank you very much for sharing that.
value in this
Yes.
community.
To
There
answer
sure
Neil's
is.
to answer Neil's question, you only buy one copy. You buy the copy that you put into your
It's
project
the
in your
project.
project area, and
Yeah,
then
you
you can
buy
send
the
them as many
project.
copies as you want.
Yep. Yep.
Bob, thank you for sharing with the community. That's fabulous.
It is.
Yeah, Bob is an amazing designer. And he designs things different than Mike and I do. So I think together between what Bob offers and what Mike and I offer, like it's the whole package, because
Absolutely.
Bob does a lot more of the marketing stuff, in the booklets and the pamphlets and the flyers, and the postcards marketing Mailbox Power, and he's really good at it. And then I think when it comes to the nurturing in that's where I think Mike and I is our strong suit. And so I love it that whenever Bob puts something out, I'm like, ooh, I gotta have that one.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
it is gold. So with that, speaking of gold, can you believe that we are literally hours away from 2025? So I wish you all a very happy new year and look forward to watching all of you grow and prosper in 2025. And so with that, I hope you all have an awesome day and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.